Okay, we're going to talk about the website. What fun. And so much has gone on the website. Lots of new images. You come to the website, and as you all know, a casual visitor to the website doesn't have to do anything. These slider images go across the screen and basically tell our story. They're called hero images. Here's Michael Becker's great picture of Gibraltar. I've been up to Figueroa Mountain. Attracts people from all over the world, of course. Some of the older images, the images that I inherited with the website, just don't go panoramic like this. So you'll see it, or maybe you won't miss it. There's a gradual upgrade with the images to bigger, wider. My wife isn't sure she likes this picture. She says it's cloudy, but think of it. Early morning fog sounds great to a lot of people in different climates these days, right? We have a new ride and a route through Lompoc, and this really meant a lot to me because Jalama Beach here is now a gateway. You can take the train to surf, and it's your gateway to the Santa Ynez Valley, where you could daisy chain several days of rides and destinations, pull it all together. Okay, harsh transition, but it's like I was thinking this confession is good for the soul. There are things that have been broken in the website for a long time, and you never heard me talking about them, but one was our identity. We had, Marlis knows what I'm talking about. I reached out to her for help with this.
We just bought it all, Frank.
You bought it all.
We just wanted to have it all covered, but now we have this.
You did, and then I was fumbling, making a mess out of this. And then Mike Land helped me out in Marlis's office, and now all of these all point to calcoast.com. This wasn't a bug that I inherited, I actually broke this. And then I couldn't figure out how to fix it. Posting a route, or a ride to Facebook wasn't working, and it was kind of terrible. That little red arrow there pointing to, that's called the excerpt of the post. So you want to promote some of these rides and attract an audience, and they weren't posting up very well. And I tried to come up with an analogy of some of us are gardeners. You've got a big garden, you've got weeds all over the place. So is building a website. I have weeds all over the place. And I would come here and try to pull these weeds, and I couldn't get it weed free. Anyway, this haunted me for 2 months. It's working now. I'm happy about that. The banner, it's called, up at the top, brand new, the website theme that we use that kind of puts CalCoast on the screen for us. Brand new header with all kinds of menu capabilities. We were limping along in the past. We have beautiful new menu capabilities there. Finally, search in the header. Wow, so important. And I created this, of course, as Rabelais after Marlis sent around the additional exposure from that magazine, was it, about this? This is now a header image, too. Here, this I call my Norman Rockwell photo. What do you think? It's got the flag, it's got people standing there. Oh, I love this photo. It's not perfect, but the key here is the Facebook icon. That's a new feature. Every other website in the world has those links. We were slow to have the ability to put that up there. Although somebody comes to our website and doesn't have to do anything except watch the beautiful images slide by, what we want them to do, probably more than anything, is click our Facebook and connect with us. We have on the order of something like 20 different rides posted up. But keeping them all looking consistent as you go from one ride to another is a little bit of a trick. Someday you'll have somebody different from me posting rides up there. Wouldn't it be nice if they had template tools that they could use to maintain consistency? You see this in a lot of magazines. The first paragraph maybe have different stylish typography. So we're doing that, we're trying that here. Also, talking about contributions from others, And like Kate was saying, ride, text. Our very own Jennifer Walker took it upon herself to rewrite Gibraltar. And who better to rewrite Gibraltar than Jennifer, right? She's a cyclist athlete. So then the next thing was to give her credit. And I think the most important new feature of all the things that I'm going to share with you today is look at this group effort to the website. I've got people in every corner of this room contributing to the website. Photos, commentary, pointing out bugs. I just like to point out, draw your attention to Derek Towers. I spend time talking with him. He's like my part-time psychiatrist. He comes to me, he and Kate will maybe gang up on me a little bit with, these are the things that aren't working the way we want, and my technique in responding to them is to ignore them for as long as possible. Then tell them how difficult it is to fix that. But Derek, he listens to me quite patiently, and so then I've said everything, I go and fix it. It's a great little system. He's figured me out. Now, who is it on there? Jeff Clark, there on the left. A famous photographer, Ed introduced me to him, and I think, well, I'm going to write a little RFP and send it to Jeff Clark, and he'll be so tickled to make a little money shooting photography for cycleCalCoast. This will be wonderful. Well, Jeff Clark, I learned, is so busy, he just completely ignores my emails and doesn't, he's told me in March he's busy through October. Well, over time, I persuaded him. He's given me over 300 photographs. Fabulous photography, featuring half a dozen of his images on the website. And never had photo credits on there. Maybe I need to make them a little bit bigger there. But when you put a Jeff Clark credit on your web page, random people, let's say like Trek Travel, notice that when they come to the site. So by giving credit to whether it's Jennifer Walker or Jeff Clark, we're actually, putting the spotlight on ourselves. Marlis told me last time, Frank, don't get too much in the weeds. But I can't resist. Here we are in the code. So with 24 rides, I didn't hear that. So with 24 rides, it's a nightmare. I have to go put in those author credits or photo credits on all 24 rides, and it drives me crazy. And then I forget some, miss some, whatever. So there's a process at work here of actually building a template such that somebody else could come along someday and put a ride on cycleCalCoast and use some of these global tools, and the new ride would look like all the other rides. Isn't that nice? So easy to do. Well, time to transition back to my summer vacation photos. I snuck a few in. Actually, they're research. You can't go shoot Figueroa Mountain, spend all morning shooting Figueroa Mountain without saying, hey, I gotta come back here and bring my family. So I did. I called it a family reunion that gets everybody to come. And we rented bikes here at Pedigo, Los Olivos electric bikes, to run up and down Fox and Canyon Road. And of course, when you're done with the bike ride, we go drink some wine. Right? This is all kind of like the pitch of what we're doing. Massages after this. And then the next day I actually go to work and go into Dr. J's. My wife gets a little peeved with me. She says, we were all at breakfast and then you just disappeared. Nobody knew where you were. Well, I stuck away to Dr. J's. I had questions. I knew about hotels in Los Olivos because there's only one of them, and they're super bike friendly. And the Amgen tour goes through there. So I knew Fess Parker in Los Olivos was completely bike friendly, but what about Solvang? And so they straightened me out on that. And so the next question I have for them is, so people come into Dr. J's and rent bikes, where do you send them? And he described verbally this 13-mile loop here. So I come home and post it on the site. Now, not everybody can do Figueroa Mountain, right? Derek admitting that, his cycling of limits maybe. I don't know that I could do Figueroa Mountain, but I could certainly do this, and so could a lot of people that go to Santa Ynez Valley. So a nice little ride. It's new. It's on the website. Okay, so we're using Ride with GPS as the backbone of our system, right? Keeping track of all the rides there. Remember, I call this double exposure because Ride with GPS is also offering us the ability, we take our same route, add a little bit different kind of description, and this is hosted on their site. And we now have 4 routes on their website. And so one thing I've been experimenting with is sometimes I'll do a Facebook post about one of our rides, and then I'll do another post a week later featuring one of our rides, but through Ride with GPS, just experimenting. Maybe it doesn't make a difference. How come these 4? These 4 have the most photography, that's all. So as we get more assets, we can put more rides on the system. Okay, I've babbled about this forever, and you can't see it, I'm sorry, from the back of the room, but we have regional maps. They just sent me this 2 days ago. So I coded all of the Ventura County rides. They're on the website, and they're there in blue. And then if you click on, as I did, the Rincon Trail, it turns red, and a little pop-up.
Where do you search the window? Just
Well,
right in there.
I just jammed it onto one of the pages just so that I could do this screenshot. So it's early on, but the ability to have like a geographic search. I took the website early on into the Air Pollution Control District, and Liz and her colleague are telling me, Frank, you need a search capability. Where do people start? Well, this would be a pretty nice place to start if you zoom in a little bit and allow people to like say, oh, I'm going to be in Ventura. I'm going to click this right and see where it could take them. So another thing, I've been pestering Ride with GPS, and we finally got them. Think of where Ride with GPS's big client is Travel Oregon. They're documenting rides in the Oregon Outback where amenities and services it's remote, right? Contrast that with, again, Ventura. All your rides go through Ojai right now. So you've got this like redundancy of posting points of interest on all those rides. So the good news is we've got brewery and coffee, hard to imagine, train station, bus stop, shower, or all these new POI. But at least for me, your web guy, right? Different from your Brian Brennan, your bicycle-friendly business guy, there's issues. Here is, what route is this? Can you tell me? Who recognizes this route?
Grand Loop.
This is your Grand Loop, and this is how it looked not too long ago. You know, I do all my work on one of those 4K Max, right? So it always looks good, and then you're out for coffee and you want to show somebody the Grand Loop, and it's like, oh boy, what am I showing them here? Too many points of interest. Ride with GPS calls them points of interest. We think of them as bicycle-friendly businesses. So there's, how do we present? Emergency emails to Ride with GPS. I say, well, there's too much stuff here. Can the user like turn them on or off so that they can see this abundance, but then turn it off so they can see the road? No. I could turn them off or on globally, but not a casual visitor to the site. Well, that wasn't going to work. Switching gears now, tying all together, the meeting we had at the supervisors. Who is this nice lady? Shelley. I'd never met Shelley before, and she had never met me. But in a few moments, Supervisor Bennett's going to recognize me. So Shelley comes after me after the meeting and hands me her business card. And she tells me that her bicycle-friendly business designation on the website, there's not one misspelling, but 2. I said, well, you obviously spelled your name wrong, Shelley. Should have just one E like everybody else. So I know how sensitive, I feel sensitive about that. I come home and I fix that immediately, because that would drive me crazy too. And I get done with that on the bicycle-friendly business site, and then I realize that that is on 6. This Ventura Bike Depot is on 6 routes on our maps. And I'm just sitting there saying to myself, holy cow, Yeah, sure, I know that, and I could go fix those, but I have to do it 6 times. And I'm just imagining in the future, let's say a business gets a new phone number, not just a name change, but we won't know that, let's say, or a change to the URL. Wow, what a little nightmare of maintenance is bugging me. Now, I scare the crap out of myself with all that work, but then, as luck would have it, we didn't have Shelley's name on all those POI. So I scared myself, but then it wasn't any work. But still, it was a takeaway for me there. And because the POI can obscure the route, and since we're all kind of experimenting, I'm not saying this is the way it has to be. And this is just kind of temporary. I'm trying to film myself on another camera. So they can critique me, doing little video critiques back at SB Bike, stay in front of the camera. So what I've been doing is thinning the POI off some of the routes. So like maybe bike shops are important and some lodging, but who said it, Kate? Restaurants maybe are ubiquitous, so thin some of those down. And then the idea is, ooh, it's not pretty, but I've got these amenity links at the bottom. And what do? They show you can pre-program Google Maps with these queries, and that's what I've done. So it shells out, we say, to Google Maps with a predefined search on lodging, or bike shops, or wineries, or breweries. And you can constrain it to overlap the precise region that you're doing. Why are we doing this again? Is because if Shelley with an E, or a new phone number, or a new URL, people are going and correcting that themselves. And when you push a button like this, we inherit whatever changes the universe has made to their businesses. We inherit all of that maintenance free. Now, at the same time, we lose our ability. Google doesn't know or care about our bicycle-friendly business designations. So this is not a perfect solution, but maybe it points to how we might want to put the spotlight on our BFBs and at the same time minimize maintenance. So now, temporarily...
Frank, can I stop you there?
Yeah.
So I just pulled it up and I went to breweries because I just wanted to see. And so all these breweries that came up, it took me to another tab in Google. So they're not bike-friendly businesses. So right now, I mean, maybe they are, but we have not vetted them and qualified them.
Great.
So right now, the only link is what I'm hearing is to this. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Right.
I just
so
wanted
this
to
isn't
understand that.
permanent. I'm brainstorming. We're all figuring this out together, right?
Right. Okay.
Is, what's the balance of, marking up our routes and staying on top of that without creating a lot of work for ourselves? Kate?
Well, there is a list of the bike-friendly businesses, but it's a different place in the website. But there, through the mapping is where he's saying this doesn't take you to bike-friendly businesses, so you have to go a completely different location to find it.
Where is that, by the way? Where is the list of?
Right as a footer, you go to the bottom of any screen, there's a footer menu of bicycle-friendly businesses. So, Marlis, you're exactly right. That's the distinction between maybe what we first imagined and a maintenance-free version of tracking businesses. So I'm not imposing this on anybody. We're kind of brainstorming, right? Figuring out, is this going to work for us or not?
Doesn't Cycle Oregon have both? But Cycle Oregon also has a lot of staffing dedicated to the actual mapping and changing. That's something that we don't have.
Yeah, right. Ride Oregon, if you go to their site, you can click on buttons and it will show you more or fewer bicycle-friendly businesses. But that's code that we don't have. That's not Ride with GPS. That's with a budget that we don't have. Okay.
As we're trying to go out to these bicycle-friendly businesses or potential businesses, the more upfront that can be, that list, because the tendency is to just to want to look like who else is it, or who in this county is, what other bike shop is. And so if that can be maybe on the main menu, drop down at the top, because you have apply, which is great, but maybe it's just a big link right there that's just like, boom, here's what we got,
And we have added that Rabelais photo to the sliders going by.
Right, yeah.
So, but it goes to apply. All right, any other questions on this? I appreciate you being able to like brainstorm with me here. We're all figuring this out, Cindy.
Just maybe for the marketing committee to look at, but we do, just from a branding standpoint, I think we had decided cycleCalCoast, and so the website, at the top is cycleCalCoast, and I think that's where it's being directed temporarily, but now it's, we're moving on in time, so I'm just putting out there that maybe we want to look at consistency, whatever that name can be.
What did the star refer to us as?
They used your logo, cycleCalCoast. Yeah.
So there's more to that than, anyway, that's an issue. The site is built on cycleCalCoast, which is what we inherited. And that's why those first slides on those many .coms and URLs was important, so no matter what people hear or remember or see in a magazine, we'll get you there. Derek?
Just one other issue on the comment on bike-friendly businesses. So I think that you need to keep in mind that it's definitely something that's going to evolve. And I've talked to Frank and Kate and Cindy about this. So you saw that map where the whole route was just covered and you've got no idea what the route is. So there's going to be at some point, I suspect, a evolution where we bring in that designation of a gold level, silver level, bronze level bike-friendly business, and then those can be, the higher ranking, and then be highlighted on our maps that don't obscure the route and still provides that higher potential sponsor level for a business. This is just kind of in conversations what I've seen. I think though at this level or at this point in time, we do need some way to make it more enticing for businesses that do want to apply, whether it be through a different listing method for, within the apply page, or maybe just a rotating highlighted business on the route, or 2 or 3 or something like that, just to make it.
All right, so I like the sounds of that, and a lot of the things I've done are take one route and then add another route, and they kind of look a lot alike, and I've done that 20 times, and that's cookie cutter, and it's been pretty easy. Now we're moving into something that's a little bit undefined, or has constraints, or maybe we're not sure how we want to do it. So I would certainly appreciate some help. Pull some folks together, have a discussion, talk about the pros and cons of different approaches, so you get what you want. Yeah, Steve.
I appreciate you raising this issue. I think given where we are right now, and if marketing is saying sort of the big push for marketing right now is bike-friendly businesses, that to the extent that we can highlight our bike-friendly businesses more on our website, that would be helpful. And so I appreciate that, if you put all of those things on there, but if I was going to put anything on there, I'd put just the bike-friendly businesses on the route at this point in time. And then down at the bottom have lodging and, those other things. At least during this temporary, trying to get, until we get to a better technological moment, I guess. Okay. Number one. Number two, just a thought. There's no question when we make the presentations to the elected bodies, et cetera, what's left in everybody's mind is that picture of Rabelais restaurant. It's like, oh, look at that. Every business would want 60 bikes in front of their business if they could. So a suggestion would be, one of our first sliders would be bike-friendly businesses. Just so when you go, if you have a bike, anybody thinking about doing it, go, hey, there's the bike-friendly businesses. And then have a very strong link and maybe even a map that just shows, so you have both the list and you also have the map that shows where all the bike-friendly businesses are. So you could go to that site and say, look, on our website, we prominently feature the bike-friendly businesses, because they're going to be the foundation of this website in lots of ways in terms of potential funding sources for us, potential political support, all of that stuff. Those businesses are just invaluable. I mean, you get the owner of Ravelay to come to the Board of Supervisors and say, this has been one of the best things that ever happened to me. Now you got support from the Board of Supervisors to build bike lanes. I mean, so it all snowballs. So I think I'm more of a mind of really emphasizing the bike-friendly businesses from the standpoint of having them feel valued on the website, et cetera. I don't have all the solutions to that, but those would be some that I would have. I would highlight bike-friendly businesses before anything else. Maybe one thing like that. If people want lodging, if people want those other things, fine, have those be down across the bottom. But I wouldn't have the list of bike-friendly businesses. I wouldn't have just as down in the footer if somebody wants to go click on it. I would strongly. Okay.
I just have a quick question. On the list, are they just in randomized order?
That's a good question. It has little toggles at the top, like a lot of spreadsheets.
Yeah.
If you click on the top, you can sort them in different order. It appears to be in date that they were added.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. Good question. I suppose that has to go on my bug list. Yeah. Any other questions? All right, I think I'm all done. Look at that. Wow, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.